Payday 3's long-awaited first patch is delayed again. Please bear with us, says Starbreeze. A moment of silence for this game's Steam reviews because, oh my god, has this game's speed ran hitting mixed to negative reviews. And may God have mercy on your soul if you paid for the $90 Payday 3 Gold Edition. And yes, just to be clear, Payday 3 has not released a substantial update in literally an entire month at this point. Their most recent post on their news hub was on September 25th. I'm making this video October 23rd, and they have yet to release a substantial update since. That is absolutely abysmal. No new content. No new sorry we messed up heist, no new cosmetics, no major changes to a lot of the systems and progression and these things with the game. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Look at all of the posting these guys were doing leading up to the launch of the game. Post after post after post, multiple posts a month before the game was even out to promote the game, to generate hype for the game. And then once the game launches, which is literally right here on September 21st, nothing. One post after that for a month. One post since then. They were posting multiple times a month. In August alone, they posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Then after the game launches, October, 0 times. The month is probably going to finish out with 0 posts regarding any update on this game. That is terrible community management at minimum, right? Just at minimum. Like let's set aside the fact that this game has had an abysmal launch. Let's set aside the fact that this game needs a lot of fixes in order to get up to par to even warrant $40 full price, let alone $90 that some of these super fans have paid for. To not communicate whatsoever about the state of the game or what's to come when you clearly have the mechanisms in place with your community management to communicate with your player base properly on these things. Like you have a guy who does weekly live streams and talks to the chat and explains what's going on with the game. You have people who write these blog posts and everything like that, and you have not been able to say anything substantial other than the fact that you are putting the game down for maintenance on September 25th. There was no mention of even like stuff about the patch all the way back then. It was just a notice that the game was going to be down for maintenance at certain times, and that was the last we've heard of them. That's insane. What are those people doing over on the community management side? They're not working on the game, really. They're not like writing code. That's not their job. So what are they doing right now if not tending to the community that's extremely bent out of shape right now at the launch of this game? It's negative review after negative review, and even the reviews that seem like they're recommended or positive are still criticizing the game for bad servers or no offline mode and bad progression. So like, are those even recommended reviews really? The fact that there are people who have paid $90 for an unfinished early access game, and this is an early access game, make no mistake, this game should have absolutely released as an early access title because it was nowhere near finished to where it should have been at launch, and these people have paid $40 to $90 for these different editions in order to get, frivolous cosmetics that don't look good or season passes because guys, I know in the comments of my previous Payday videos, a lot of you guys are like, oh, there's no microtransactions. Like, there's gonna be DLC. For this game that barely has any content at launch, there's still going to be paid DLC because there are season passes. They have at least a year's worth of DLC that they're going to be trickling in and making you pay real life more dollars for on top of the $40 to $90 you've already paid. And yes, if you're on Game Pass, I mean, you're still paying for Game Pass, but you're maybe still going to have to pay for those DLCs even if you're on Game Pass. We don't know for sure. I actually wouldn't put it past them that that's how it's going to work, and that's why the game was on Game Pass in the first place. It's to get them in the door, and then when they release the DLCs, it'll be like, hey, the DLCs you still have to pay for even if you're on Game Pass, and that's how they get you. That's just my theory. We'll see if I'm right there. I think even if that wasn't the plan initially, now with this game doing so bad, they might have to do that just to make up the deficit and loss of profit by how terrible this game has launched. You know, this big patch was slated for the first week of October, and we still have absolutely nothing a whole month later. I mean, that is crazy. That's inexcusable, especially in a situation where your player base already feels slighted, already feels gaslit, already feels underserved and not listened to, and then you're going to just leave them radio silent for a month straight while the game is in a state that is just not good. It's just not good. It's just not enough to really keep people engaged and interested because there's just so little content. And the content that is there is lackluster at best in a lot of ways. There's a lot of quality of life features missing. There's a lot of features that were really enjoyed in Payday 2 that are nowhere to be seen and not ported over to Payday 3. And that just leads to an overall annoying experience and frustrating experience for players who have enjoyed Payday 2 and Payday 2's amount of polish that it had at its end of life cycle. I mean, guys, I'm going to keep covering this game. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, it's just not looking good. I know a lot of people wanted this game to be good, and a lot of these people even held out hope that after the server issues would be fixed, which they have mostly been now, that the game would at least be pretty good, pretty decent, pretty serviceable, and it's not even that. So it's a really tough sell at this point. Absolutely do not spend money on this game. Like, do not buy this game in any of its editions. I would even wait. I just would wait. Just see how this one goes. If you really have an itch to rob some banks, then go load up Payday 2, because I promise you, you will have more fun in that game. I know it's not as pretty to look at, but it is better, and there is more to do, and it is a deeper experience than Payday 3. Payday 3 is so shallow right now and lacking in so many areas, and it is just absolutely insulting that Starbreeze released this game outside of early access, and they called it a finished product and sold it for upwards of $90 when they knew full well it was lacking in so many features that the community was absolutely going to ask for and wonder where they went. Since those features were in Payday 2, why wouldn't they be in the sequel? I mean, you can see here by the Steam numbers, and I know the Steam numbers aren't always the whole argument, the whole picture, but it's definitely a part of it. I mean, it's lost over 90% of its player base in just 1 month of launch. I mean, this has been like a speed run of running your game into the ground. And yes, we've seen developers in the past clutch it out and still make a good game over time and really give it the love and attention it deserves in order to get it up to speed to where people wanted it to be. And we've seen those Cinderella comeback stories before, but the way that Starbreeze is currently conducting themselves, to have gone radio silent for the whole first month of launch, aside from some community streams, which like only more diehard fans are going to watch all those streams, especially at this point when there's been no real official releases. Only diehard fans who are already very committed to Payday 3 and the Payday community are going to be in those streams and interacting in those streams, right? So it's like they're only talking to purposefully the group of people in the player base who are going to respond the most positively regardless of what the developers tell them, because the developers know if they make a blog post, if they make a patch note, if they whatever, they're going to garner more attention again, and the news cycle is going to spin up again, and people might come back to the game only to find that it's still in just as bad of shape as it was before, and they will once again have egg on their face for that. So they're waiting to make any official PR releases because they know the moment they do that, some people will come back and give it another shake, and they want to make sure the game is in a really good state when that happens. So they're trying very hard to only speak to the diehards, quiet, muffled tones, inside voices. Hey guys, you guys are cool, all right? So we're going to tell you what we got coming up, all right? Now don't go blabbing about this, all right? But this is what we got coming out in the new patch. Like that's what it feels like, because if they truly wanted to address the entire player base or the entire gaming community, they would do it through other means. They would even transpose their live streams into blog posts and things like that, but they aren't doing those things, and that's very deliberate because they're trying to control the messaging right now. They're trying to control the optics and the public perception of the game at the moment, and they know the moment they make a more official PR release, they are going to press release. A PR release is redundant. The moment they make a press release, it's going to drum up attention again, and they want to make sure when that happens, the game is better. So the game isn't better, so they're not going to do that. So just something to think about, guys. Always try to think with a more critical lens. Like, why are they doing it this way? Why are they only doing dev streams, but they're not putting out any blog posts? Why do they have a season pass? Just these questions that come to mind. Like, really think about it and use that when you are discussing these games, when you're reviewing or critiquing these games, when you're recommending these games, when you are deciding if you're going to buy or spend money on these games. Like, remember these things, keep these things in the front of your mind when you're making these decisions, because they are real, they are legitimate. Your intuition is probably true. If you have this inkling, maybe listen to that. Maybe go with your gut a little bit on that, because you might be right, that the intentions aren't what they should be for some of these game companies who are really just trying to turn a profit on a product. Unfortunately, video games, for the majority of the industry, it's not treated as an art. It's treated as a product. It's treated as something to be bought and sold to consumers to be consumed. So keep that in mind when discussing these games. This is a product, and would you accept this kind of communication or this kind of treatment or this kind of quality from another type of product that you would go and buy at the store if you paid good money for it? If you paid $90 for a new drill, and then you went home to go use the drill, and then it broke, or it didn't work, or the charger didn't work, or it only had 10 minutes of battery life or something, you would be irritated. You would say, I'm not going to buy that drill brand again. You would do things differently. So just think about that when it comes to video games, because video games on their end, on the developers' end, on the publishers' end, on the retailers' end, it's all treated as a business. It's all treated as a product to them. So for you to not do that, or for you to discuss video games in a way that treats them more as an art form, more as like a hobby or something, like more as like this activity that we all care about, that we all love so much, like to talk about it that way and to try to critique it that way and to try to think about it in that way and make your decisions based on that and communicate about your ideas based from that standpoint, it's selling yourself short, because you're not playing the same game that the other party is, because they're treating it like a business and a product. You're treating it like an art piece, like a hobby, like a fun thing, and it's like it's not that to them. So just try to keep that in mind, because that will help you not get taken advantage of as a consumer in the future. Anyway, guys, I'm Sly Elliott. Thank you so much for listening. Just wanted to rant a bit about Payday 3, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya. It really means a lot to me when you guys like the video. If you enjoy it, it lets me know you like that kind of content and I should keep doing it. And it also means a great deal to me when you guys subscribe, hit that bell as well to get notifications. Subscribing is free. Please subscribe if you enjoy and you want to see more videos like this. I cover a wide range of topics in tech and video games and a bunch of other stuff that interests me. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. You have no idea. And I'll see you on the next one. I hope you're having a great day.